noticed more.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
You're reckless, little one. You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan.
Hey guys, welcome to a special edition. For the second episode, this is a special edition of the Sith Temple. As you guys already know, I'm Joe.
And I'm Raven.
And this is the best Star Wars podcast in the UK. Alright, so we're right here at the Excel Centre in London. Star Wars celebration. It's the last day, day 3 of just a great day of stuff.
More like a weekender.
It's a full weekender, but this is the last day of a great weekend. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to talk about stuff that we've done, where we've been. Obviously, we've been here since Thursday night. It's Sunday afternoon right now. We're going to talk about what we've done, what we've seen, and just everything really. So let me put it to you, Raven. Give us a breakdown. So how did it all start on Thursday?
So Thursday night we started just lining up, obviously. Getting in line really early. One of the things that we did really early was to come here, and because obviously we saw online that people was queuing up, so we just jumped in the car, got here, and throughout the whole night we had a great experience meeting new people, all the way through the early morning.
Let me elaborate on that. It's crazy because obviously we was at home chilling. It's about 11:30, and in our original plan, we was gonna leave home at 4 a.m. Get to the Excel Centre for maybe 4:30, wait in line, get our panel tickets, go home, have a sleep. But at 11:30, what did we see on Instagram? We saw on Instagram that the queues had already started up. Luckily, we live right around the corner, so we just grabbed our stuff, came down here totally unprepared, didn't know what to expect. Only heard stories about what happens at other celebrations. Got in queue, and I mean it was a great night. Like for our first night of our Star Wars celebration, the atmosphere was just how we thought it'd be. Electrifying. Met so many nice people. Everyone was really cool. Everyone's got different favorite things about Star Wars and stuff like that. So I thought Thursday night was great. So what panels did we get into on Thursday night?
You mean Friday?
Yeah, but what the panels we lined up for on Thursday night? Yeah, what panels did we line up for on Thursday night?
Rogue One. We're going to Rogue One, and who else was it?
The screening. It was the screening of A New Hope.
Oh yeah, screening of A New Hope. Yeah, that's what we mainly came down for that day, really.
Right. What would you say? So, all right. So we get our tickets Thursday night, or Friday morning. Then we leave and we come back. When we arrive back at about 10:30, how was you feeling? Like, what was the feeling like? What was the vibe like? What was the vibe like on Friday morning when we arrived back?
I was still electrified because I barely slept that night. I think I got about an hour and a half sleep. So
I slept like a baby.
You really did. Like, I don't know how you managed to pull through to sleeping on the concrete. How many hours did you get?
As many hours we was here, I slept. Doesn't matter. Nomad life.
Yeah, Joey and Sam left me and they just went to sleep. But it was cool because I had people to talk to, so that was alright. Now when we got here, I was still buzzing. I didn't know where to look. I felt completely lost. Like there was just I have no sense of direction whatsoever. So
one of the things about that is it's like we come to the XL a lot for all the Comic Cons and the conventions. Yeah, it definitely is home for us, but the setup of the whole Star Wars celebration thing has been totally different. The way they arrange lines, the way people have to queue up, the way they filter people from place to places, it's totally different. It is a lot more organized. You can tell that the people who run this do this frequently and got it down pat of how to keep things in order. I mean, so let's skip forward a little bit. So you get here on Friday morning. What do we do before the Rogue One panel? Because obviously the Rogue One panel was at 4 o'clock. What do we do before then?
We went around engaging with people, obviously doing our CYBERNERDS thing, just getting in touch, connecting with as many people as possible. I mean, we spoke from parents, from fans from all over the world. loads of Australians here, loads of Americans here, a couple of people from, like Germans were here, a couple of Italians as well. So that was one of the main things we wanted to do, was just to engage and get that feedback from people. And obviously, we did our thing, we interviewed, we played games. But yeah, cool cosplayers as well.
I'm going to jump in there because I was totally surprised about how many Americans are actually here. I thought that with it being Star Wars Celebration Europe, we was going to get like more European people and a lot. And there is a large European crowd, but there is definitely a large portion of American people here. So that's great. Shout out to all the Yanks who made the trip. Dan.
That's the fun.
Yeah, little vacation in London. All right, moving on from there. So, after lining up, we lined up for the Rogue One panel. When we got into the Rogue One panel, talk to me about the Rogue One panel. Just not really a breakdown because we've already done a video for that. Will be in the description below. So click on that and check out our views on the Rogue One panel. But like, just as a fan, as a Star Wars fan, tell me how you felt about the Rogue One panel.
How I felt, well, they had the host, setting the crowd up, which I thought was really cool.
And who was the host?
I've never seen him before, so I have no idea what his name is.
The host of the Rogue One panel?
Yeah, the dude.
The host of the Rogue One panel was Captain Phasma.
Yeah, I'm not talking about her.
Oh, okay.
The guy who sets it up before they come through.
Okay. My mistake.
It's cool. Yeah, so great vibes. They got to play games, they got to interview people, lots of cheering. But yeah, man, we were just there for the setup right to the beginning.
Cool. And past that, so the stage has been set, they're playing all the live music, they're getting everyone jazzed up. Now who comes out? Oh, I forgot. Talk to me about the music. I know.
Music. I forgot about the music because one of the main things they did that was so sick was the DJ was playing like dubstep, but then at the same time playing lines from the movie, which is really, really sick. I mean, you just be hearing like a deep beat, and then you just hear it, "I am your father," like, and you're just like, what? And it goes with the beat, like so. I actually want to get that.
I'm just gonna put a shout out to DJ Elliot. He was the DJ. He's been the Star Wars Celebration stage DJ Elliot. Very legit. I'm so surprised they're not selling DJ Elliot CDs out here because he's got the bangers.
The bangers. I would have been skanking out if I had that. I mean, I was already skanking out, but I need that. That's
he's got the real life bangers. He's got the bangers.
For sure.
All right, cool. So tell me, after DJ Elliot done his set, talk to me about the Rogue One panel. I mean, in fact, I'm going to talk about the Rogue. Forget you. You're doing a lot of talking, right? Let me do some talk. So, all right, for me personally, Rogue One panel, I was excited because this was one of the panels. This was in my top 3 panels that I wanted to get to. Number 2. It was number 2. So we get there, and one thing that was great for me is the host, Captain Phasma, because it was a total surprise. They never said Captain Phasma. Gwendolyn Christie, shout out to all your Game of Thrones fans. Shout out to all you First Order troops.
And she looked great too. She looked great. I mean, sorry to interrupt you there, but I was caught by surprise because obviously, as you know, Game of Thrones, she looks very manlish, but then over it was like, oh wow, like quite classy.
Gwendolyn Christie is a beautiful lady. I'm just gonna say that. And she's a footer. And you gotta love your footers. Shout out to the footers. Shout out to all the Amazons. You gotta love those. All right, so Gwendolyn Christie came out. She was hosting a panel, and that was great because, like I said, it was a huge surprise. Moving on from there, they brought out the whole cast of Rogue One, and it's one thing because big Comic-Cons are never usually in Europe or London, like San Diego Comic-Cons in San Diego. All the big cons, they're usually over in America. But this was like one of the first times we had a huge con here, Star Wars Celebration, and Gwendolyn Christie brings out the whole Rogue One cast. And like, as a Star Wars fan, as a fan of the movies, and this movie's coming out in December, like, I was in awe because, you know, we had Forrest Whitaker up there, Felicity Jones, Mads Mikkelsen, like Donnie Yen. Like, come on, man, these are big names, you know what I'm saying? And they're out here and they're talking to us, telling us about the movie and stuff. Okay, now, there was a bit of a spoiler dropped that we didn't talk about in the Rogue in the Rogue One panel review, because we were so excited. We were so excited about it. We skipped over a couple things that we're going to try and touch on now. So, someone dropped a spoiler in the Rogue One panel.
Just someone? Was it? It felt like it was more than one person, to be honest.
I feel like there was a couple nuggets thrown out, but I felt like one person in particular dropped a big spoiler. But do you want to talk about the spoiler?
Yeah. So what's his name? Forgot. One of the characters. So basically comes out, and he keeps repeating that he has I got a big gun and I got a gun, and then all of a sudden he says, it looks over to Donnie Yen, and he goes, and he's dead, and everybody was like, did he really just say that? Like, we was like confused because the way he was interacting with us, we didn't know whether he was messing around, because he just kept saying, oh, I got a big gun, I've got a big gun, and I got a gun, and I go around the big gun. And we're like, okay, like, but then he drops that, and then they look at him as well. And then Caitlin looks at him as well, and he's like, yeah, he wasn't supposed to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredibly funny but shocking at the same time, because everyone's sitting at the Rogue One panel now, and he's talking and he's trying to give a description of his character and what his character goes through, and obviously, like, English isn't his first language, so he's a bit struggling. He's struggling with it a little bit, but then he kind of just says, and he's dead, and points at Donnie Yen's character, which is obviously probably going to be a huge emotional moment in the movie if Donnie Yen in fact does get killed. Do you know what I'm saying? But I mean, spoilers get dropped. It happens.
It happens. But I just feel that the way they came across, it was like they wasn't sure what to say.
Yeah.
And they always looked across to the big guys.
I mean, that's one of those things that's definitely hard, because obviously you're doing a live panel, you want to impress the crowd, you want to give the crowd some nuggets, some knowledge, but at the same time, you've got a movie that you're trying to protect, so these things do slip out. So hopefully he doesn't get a big fine from Disney, hopefully, but it was great for us because now we've got some inside knowledge.
Obviously. Other than that,
moving on. Talk to me about some of the footage we saw at the Rogue One panel. What was good at the Rogue One panel? What did you think of the footage? Not a breakdown, but what did you think of it?
I thought it was very, very well put together. Not a lot was given. It did put us in the path where we know what the movie's about. So that's a great thing. But at the same time, they didn't give us. So it's like they gave us the vision.
Yeah, see,
they didn't give us the journey or anything like that.
See, one thing that I loved about the panel, and I didn't talk about this on our review either, was that the way they set it up was amazing. So they played the scroll of Episode 4, A New Hope. Mm-hmm. So the text is going up, and then it stops on that second paragraph. The paragraph where it says the plans for the Death Star were stolen, and it starts flashing. And I was like, this whole movie is based on this one paragraph of text that we've had in our possession for like 30 years. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy to think that from this one paragraph, we're gonna get a whole movie. Imagine if they did that for every paragraph in every Star Wars movie we've had, like, would be very lucky people. So I really like that. It's so much emphasis on that. Moving on from that, what characters were standout for you? In fact, if you've got to pick one standout character from the panel, who are you what one singular character you most excited to see when this movie comes? I think I pretty much know the answer already, but this
answer is going to be very biased because I'm a huge fan of Donnie Yen. I've watched a lot of his movies, and I love his background, his movie background. Which is Chinese Asian type of movie, so martial arts. So just seeing him doing those things, like the way he was acting, that just brought me flashbacks of his other movies, and it makes sense for them to have him playing that. So when I saw the stuff that he was doing, I was like, yo, that's deep. So Donnie Yen, I'm sorry.
Let me jump on Donnie Yen's character. I'm excited for Donnie Yen's character as well, because I like the way he described his character. He said his character is someone who is in tune with the Force, but is not a Jedi. And that is something that it gets alluded to in The Force Awakens as well with Maz Kanata, how she says, you know, I know the Force, but I'm not a Jedi. Do you know what I'm saying? And I want to see, because Donnie Yen described his character as one of the baddest ass fighters in the universe. He said that. That were his words.
He's also blind.
And he's blind.
Which makes things even more interesting. Like the way he's just gonna be badding up people. I mean, I think they've shown 2 flashes of him just making moves, like fighting, hand combat, and you're just like, yo. To me, I was like, that's deep.
Straight taking out stormtroopers, definitely. But for me, I would have to say the character I'm most looking forward to is going to be Forrest Whitaker's character, Saul Guerrero. Like, Saul Guerrero is a character that we've seen in the Clone Wars in the past, bit of an extremist, a rebel fighter, obviously being portrayed by Forrest Whitaker, who is like up there with some of the one of those great actors. So I want to see what he brings to the character. I want to see how much grit and real life he can. Now, talk to me about the tone of the movie, because this is something that's been talked about a lot. About what kind of the tone is. You know, there was a lot of scares a few weeks ago talking about 40% of the movie was being reshot. Do you know, and my thing in it is, in this day and age, in 2016, every big blockbuster movie gets reshoots. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about the movie at all. But tell me about the tone, because the tone we saw was a very, I don't want to say dark, but it was a very Saving Private Ryan kind of vibe. It was a very, this is a war movie. This is Star Wars, but this is a war movie. And one scene that highlighted that to me is when it's in the highlight reel. So you've got Gareth Edwards, and he's in a helicopter with like an alien little creature, and this alien creature's on a cannon, and he is just blasting shells out of, he's blasting shells out of an open door. And I'm like, that's ripped out straight out of like a Nam movie. Like, we've never seen stuff like that in Star Wars, so I'm really excited about the tone. What do you think about it? What do you think about the tone in the movie and it being such a gritty war movie?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head on that one. One of the things that I picked up from that was how they assembled the team. So you have the 2 main leaders, and then they assemble the team, and each one of them they have their own background, 2, they have their strengths. So, and they're gonna have to put together to make this mission very successful. So that was one of the things, because what you got from it was you got a shot from each character, and then they put 2 characters together, and then they put another 2 characters together, and it just shows, okay, well, I guess these 2 have their own little story, then these 2 have this. So this guy is a Lone Ranger, and then they just come together, and then you just see, I mean, there's debris everywhere, there's explosions, and it does actually feel like they're on the battlefield, like you explained. That was one of the main things I took from it.
See, I got to dive in there. Kathleen Kennedy, I love the way she talks about this movie. I love the way she talks about Star Wars in general, and she talks about Star Wars as these are movies about characters and how it's always about an ensemble cast. It's not just about the one person. So we may be following Jyn Erso through this, but it's not just about her, it's about everyone included, and that's what I really want to see. Like, I want to see how this team come together, just like much how you alluded to, how they come together, how they work together. Obviously there's going to be some conflict within the group, but I'm going to love to see. One of the other things I didn't even talk on is, like, I love how they've got a pilot on their team. The actor's name is eluding me right now, I'm so sorry, but Rez Ahmed, there you go, Rez Ahmed is in the movie, and he plays an Imperial pilot who is on the Rebel team. So he wakes up every morning, goes to work at the Imperial base, and when he gets off at 5, he goes down to the Rebel base and works on them on destroying the place he works. And I love the way he talked about it. He was like, lots of people work for these big companies. You don't really agree with what they do, but you need a paycheck. So I love the way he talked about it, and I'd love to see where his character goes as well, because that's just something like that Star Wars, it's never been like delved with before, like kind of with Finn, but Finn full on defected. He wasn't like, oh, I'm still going back to the Force Order, but I'm working with the rebels. This guy wears his Imperial clothes while in the Rebel base. Like, he's a known double agent. Like, I want to see that. I definitely want to see that about him. So, all right. What have you got? Anything else more on Rogue One you want to talk about?
Man, I'm just looking forward to see this movie, to be honest. Like I said before, something that we've never seen before. The way they've put together, it's very, very well. And I just hope that the trailer doesn't overshine the actual movie. That's just one of the fears I have, because the trailer was so great. And the thing is, it's not even a trailer. We didn't even get a trailer, to be honest. It was more like a tease and backstage. You know, so you got the director shooting and them explaining things. So the way they've put together, maybe they just want to gas us up, because obviously we're at Star Wars Celebration. But the way the direction is going right now and what they've shown us, this movie is going to be absolutely bananas.
All right, cool. So I want to talk about, you just reminded me of something. I just want to talk about Gareth Edwards real quick, because Gareth Edwards, director, he's done movies like 2014's Godzilla. He also directed a movie called Monsters in like 2008 or something like that. If that's wrong, guys, please let me know. I'm sure you will in the comment section anyway. But he's a very good director. I like his stuff. I liked Godzilla. But what I want to talk to him about is, we're big fans of a show called, that you guys might watch, called The Star Wars Show. So The Star Wars Show. And on The Star Wars Show, he came on and did an interview. And I was so shocked. In his interview, he like knows A New Hope. He knows that script off by head. Every character, every voice, he knows the whole movie off by head. And I was like, wow, like, when you've got a guy that invested in Star Wars, making a Star Wars movie, like, how can we go wrong?
Can't go wrong.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that really shocked me. And just having him up there talking, and Kathleen talking about him, saying how she'd come on set and be looking for him, and he'd be right in the middle of a shot, underneath, just trying to get better angles and trying to direct. But man, I love that he's so invested in that. And I just want to see what he brings us in December. Not long to wait. Not long to wait at all. All right, we're going to move on now. So, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about. Let's talk about yesterday.
Yesterday, what happened yesterday?
Not much happened yesterday. We were like completely shot. We was hurting. We came back, by the way. We came back for the second night. It wasn't as epic. There wasn't a lot of people that came and stayed over. I guess they were hurting from the previous night.
See, I think it was more of everyone wanted to get into the Rogue One panel.
Right.
That's what I think. That's why I think Thursday night, Friday morning was so packed, because everyone wanted to get into the Rogue One panel. But obviously, like you said, Friday night, Saturday morning, there was still a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
And they just showed up a little bit later. Because I think the urgency wasn't there just to get to the Rebels and the Games panel. But talk me through that. Skip the night.
Right.
Skip the night.
So throughout the day, first thing we did, we jumped straight onto Rebels.
Rebels panel, jumped straight in line for that. We was like first 50 people in, great seats. You talk to me first about this Rebels panel.
Hold up, there's a airport just across the river. So
that's if you can hear that. That's if you can hear that. If you can hear it.
It's quite loud right now. What was the thing? Well, first things first, from the panel, I loved how they went around asking people questions, so like fans questions, and we got some really, really interesting comments, facts, questions, even more important, the questions, which left us like, oh, that's a really good question, which kind of like, I think we got them answered, some of them we didn't. From what's his name?
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni. Shout out to Dave Filoni. That panel was the best. Well, first things first, it was the best to me because the way Dave Filoni carried it on, and obviously the two guests with it. Lots of fun. We had loads of fun. The engagement with the crowd was amazing. He got some serious questions where he was like, I didn't expect this. And obviously we got spoiled with trailers as well.
Now,
Joe wants to go in.
This is probably the best panel I've ever been to in my life. And that's not an exaggeration. This Star Wars Rebels panels hit us over the head constantly with new footage, new information. and it was just amazing. So we walk in, season 3, bro. They drop us with Darth Maul footage, boom, just like that. They show us a scene of Darth Maul has kidnapped the whole Ghost crew and is blackmailing Ezra into becoming his apprentice for the lives of the crew.
Wait, let me just stop you there, because he blackmails him, but already he's calling him my apprentice.
It's just the Sith ways. It's what you do. When you're a Sith, that's what you do. When I first saw it, I was like, why is he calling him the apprentice but holding him hostage? And I was like, well, if you was a Sith, how do you like call an apprentice? You blackmail them, you murder their friends, and then you tell him you tell him that the only way he can get strong enough to stop you is to learn from you. Come on! Like, anyway, so let me not get into that. But like, so you see that, then you also see Darth Maul's second attempt at trying to murder Kanan.
Yep. If you failed the first time, try the second time. And he just, boom, kicks him out of the ship.
Ever not want to how to kill a Jedi? Kick him out of the airlock of a spaceship. All right, so after that we get some great footage from Sabine, who is embracing more and more her Mandalorian roots. She's got a jetpack now, she's got a few more gadgets. She may have found someone's dark saber. Then they dropped, after that exclusive season 3 footage of Maul and Sabine, they drop us the trailer on us. If I could drop the mic right now, I would, but I've got to keep talking about this. The trailer is epic. Like, it's what you need. They're giving you nugget after nugget. One thing I did like in the trailer, there was no Vader. Instead, we got a new bad guy. A new bad guy that just made canon. Yep. Admiral Thrawn. I know some of you guys don't know about him, but he's one of the only alien Imperial commanders. Because obviously, the Imperial forces are 100% racist. It's something that has always been alluded to in Star Wars. They only hire
They only hire humans, and not just humans, Brits. I just want to put this out there.
Shout out to the British, massive. Alright, so Admiral Thrawn has been made canon. They're dropping his new novel coming in April 2017. So after, you'll probably be halfway through Rebels or 3/4 of the way through Rebels right when that book drops. So I want to see if it's his backstory, or if it's a future story, or how that really ties in. But it's great to see characters from the EU.
So season 3, we get to see Ezra more complete than before, more confident, definitely like confident when it comes to the Force. Okay, and when he comes to take over certain situations, he doesn't think twice about it. Although he takes over, it's the dark side. Like, we see a pretty dark side to it when he does things. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what he does. You just have to wait until, is that September this year for you to see that episode. But obviously, still making mistakes, and obviously, still needs Kanan. Kanan is going through his own little trials. The team pretty much is relying on Ezra. Man, what else am I missing?
I mean, for me, it's great to see Ezra's he's been given more of a leadership role. And the whole time I was watching the 2 episodes, I was kind of wondering, I was like, why would they give Ezra these leadership roles? But then I kind of realized, I kind of went back to the Clone Wars and how Anakin's role gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the stronger and the better he gets with the Force.
Right.
When you've got someone who is that in tune with the Force, you can't not let them lead. Ezra has premonitions. He knows where to go. Like, there's one point where he runs out of a door and senses the right way to go.
Right.
That guy should probably be head of the crew. But at the same time, he's trying to find power in the wrong places. He's still got the Sith holocron, and he tells us that he's been learning from it. So it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough because he's scared of what might happen to his friends, and that's making him tap into the dark side. And we need Kanan. Like I said before in our review of this, is that Kanan is the make or break of Ezra and the Ghost crew, definitely.
Yeah, just to go into the Sith holocron that he's been using, is doing it secretly. And his reasons for it is because based on the last episode of season 2, or what happens to Kanan, sorry, what happens to Kanan and Ahsoka Tano, he feels that some sort of responsibility. Now, we've seen this before. He seems to be repeating himself, or at least leaning towards that way. And Kanan has a big responsibility not to let that happen, okay? To make sure Ezra follows the right path, the right way, with no shortcuts.
I'm gonna get this back from you. After watching The Force Awakens with everyone, favorite moment? What's your favorite moment in the movie? Put him on the spot because he didn't know I was gonna ask him that.
It's gonna be when Rey and Finn are on the ship and they're trying to get away with the first time they're in the ship. And please never refer to the Millennium Falcon as a ship again. Please. I'm sorry.
Please don't do that.
I'm sorry.
Let's start again.
Well, my favorite moment is when Finn and Rey are in the Millennium Falcon.
Thank you.
Is that better? And the maneuvers she makes, and there's like that bond that's creating between them that they don't even know themselves. They're improvising as they go along. And towards it, I just love the visuals on that. It's going through and he's questioning her at the same time, and obviously he's not sure of himself. And the last bit when she just turns around, she flips the Millennium Falcon because the gun is stuck in forward position. I mean, that's just phenomenal. That's my favorite part. That's my first memory of the movie.
See, I'm sitting here trying to think about what my favorite moment is, and it's hard. It's really hard. But I think
it might be
it's pretty dark, mine. It's probably going to be the death of Han Solo. And when I say it's my favorite part, it's not because I'm happy that Han Solo gets killed, because I'm not. Because he's one of my favorite non-Force users, but it's the emotion in the scene. Like, it's the level up by Kylo Ren. I think it's Ben Skywalker, really the death of Ben Skywalker. Like, people watch the movie and say, oh, that's the death of Han Solo. I think that there's the death of Ben Solo. So, I mean, it's just an emotional moment, and it's an emotional because Kylo's emotional. Like, there's only one other time we've seen a Sith Lord emotional like that, and that is Anakin in Episode 3, right? When he kneels before Darth Sidious, and he's like, tell me what I've got to do. He's emotional, and Kylo or Ben is so emotional in that moment. He comes and he's like, I'm being torn apart on the inside. He says, I'm tearing apart. I know what I've got to do, but I don't know if I'm strong enough to do it. And I think they're trying to set you up to make you think that he's going to turn good, and he's not. He's talking about he's torn up on the inside because he's got to kill his dad to fully get to where he needs to be to even start coming close to the levels of Vader. And he knows it's tough, but like, man, he does it. And it's just one of those moments. I think that's one of those moments that 10 years from now, I'm going to look back at The Force Awakens and be like, man, like, this has got me. Like, it got me. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, made my stomach turn. Like I was like, oh. Really? I felt like I got stabbed. Like,
I saw that coming.
No. I saw it coming, but I didn't see, like, I saw Han Solo dying, yes. But the setup of him talking, the emotion, like, he gets so emotional. Like, you don't ever see him like that in the movie. Right. You don't ever see Sith Lords like that. They're supposed to be big bad guys, and this guy is vulnerable. He's a kid. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I thought that I never saw coming. The emotion, the kind of emotion he was going to convey before he did it. Not that he was going to do it. I kind of knew. As soon as Han Solo walked out onto that platform, I was like, yeah, it's over for you. When Han Solo says there's too much Vader in him, it made me think, like, so he's been doing weird stuff before now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he must have been doing stuff when he was a little kid. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about after Luke started training him. I'm talking about before that. To say something like there's too much Vader in him means that this must have been a series of events that had been going on oh, you know, Kylo just stabbed a Wookiee, a baby Wookiee, or a Wookiee cat, or
And they shipped him off to Luke. So
exactly. I think the Vader was coming out of him early as a kid, and then they was like, oh, to negate this, we'll send him to Luke. And that's when she says, that's when I lost him, when I sent him to Luke. She should have stayed. He should have stayed with them, and maybe he wasn't meant to be a big-time Force user. Maybe he wasn't meant to be that, and I think them sending him to Luke enhanced his understanding of the Force, enhanced his fighting ability, and then he was like, oh, I can really tap into Granddad Vader now. I'm about to really be like Granddaddy.
Like granddad?
Exactly. I really want to be like Granddaddy Anakin now. I want to kill some kids. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I think happened. So that was a big moment. Any other moments that stood out for you during the Force Awakens?
I like Poe Dameron. Such a cool character. I like how, you know, he's got that little humorous side to him. And I just love the crowd, really. Like, the crowd was so funny. Like, every time something silly would happen, you'd hear someone shout something like crazy at the back or something. But yeah, it was a great experience. The energy was nuts. I just couldn't stop laughing, like, whenever someone said something like, you know, silly.
Yeah, I love it. The one I laughed at the most was probably when Luke turns around and someone in the crowd screams out, "Say something." That was hilarious. That probably got one of the biggest rounds of applause as well. Like, it was great getting there and being able to see the Force Awakens with all those people like we said it was. I mean, today, it's the last day, Sunday. What we've been doing since we've got here is kind of walked around, checked out more booths, checked out the Rogue One clothes, took some pictures with some bounty hunters, played a couple of the games some more. Let's just do a little wrap up on Star Wars Celebration. Now, if you had to rate Star Wars Celebration now, on 0 being worst thing ever, and 10 being best Comic-Con in the galaxy, where are you rating Star Wars Celebrations Europe 2016?
It's falling off. It's not getting a 10. As much as I love being here this weekend, it's not getting a 10. And there's a few things that I'm actually quite upset personally. And one of the things that, you know, you probably got annoyed of hearing this, but one of the big things I was looking forward to and taking home with me was, you know, special things like, you know, the merchandise, you know, stuff that, you know, you can get online, but it's not as exclusive. Yeah, like a lot of stuff, it didn't feel like it was exclusive. And yeah, I'm kind of like bummed because of that, man. I'm like, oh man, like I look at stuff, like they do have pretty cool things here, but it didn't make me go, wow, like I gotta get here, you know. I have a budget, you know, I saved up, like we bought a ticket before the last celebrations.
So over a year ago.
And I budged up, like probably, I've never done that for like, you know, an event. And I was like, yo, I had ones for you guys, and you guys didn't want to take it. I'm actually upset.
Ones is a slang terminology for money. I had ones means I had money.
And yeah, I didn't even spend half of it. Not like I think the best things I got from it was books. I had to get this one. Now this is actually amazing. I do have the PDF, but it's not the same. And I've been reading, like every time I was lining up for a panel, I would just sit down like a little kid and just get sucked into this. This is actually amazing. I got this, I got the Bounty Hunter. I might have to end up getting the Imperial one as well today. The people are great, the whole overall experience, and the panels, phenomenal. The best thing for me was the panels and the people that I've actually met. One of the things I will take from this, and that was actually, I wanted to, this was one of my things I wanted, was to meet.
That's why I'm giving it a 10. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And that's cool, but it's just one of those things that it felt short for me. Like, don't get me wrong, like it was consistent. Like from Thursday night all the way to today, it's consistent, and we're still not done with the day as well.
Definitely not.
So, but it's just one of those things, like it's like, like that little 5-year-old in me wanted to, I don't know, like maybe because I was looking forward to get, I don't know, a statue or something.
You gassed yourself, didn't you?
I think that's what I did. I set myself up for failure, and now I'm feeling like this, you know. So,
but I'm not even gonna say it's a failure, because 9 is a great score. 9 is a great score. So, we've still got a couple more things to do at Star Wars Celebrations, but we wanted to bring you this very exclusive, a Sith. It's been a great time, it's been a great weekend. We had to do this now so we can still have fun. So I thank all the cyber nerds that saw us, recognized us, everyone that we interviewed, that came over and played Kiss, Marry or Force Choke with. Thank you for playing that with us, guys. I mean, other than that, I've had a great Star Wars celebration. It's great being out here. Raven, where can they follow you?
CMC_GS on Twitter.
Alright, guys, and you can follow me on I Can Win on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow us and the rest of the cyber nerds at the Cyber Nerds on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Guys, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe, leave a comment. Tell us if you was at Celebration, what you think. If you weren't at Celebration, tell us what you liked, what you saw. Other than that, guys, from us on the best UK Star Wars podcast out there and the Sith Temple, we're out. This is real, like, that was, like, I can't even talk about, like, they took the princess and said, yo, tell us what we want to know. Oh, you see your home planet, right? We're going to blow it up. Then she tells them, and then they blow it up.